This one, it says self-made millionaire Harris Rosen adopted a Florida neighborhood called Tangelo Park, cut the crime rate in half, and increased the high school graduation rate from 25% to 100% by giving everyone free daycare and all high school graduate scholarships. Now look at this. Now, as far as me believing in the Batmans of the world, I'm against that, and how philanthropy is going to save the world type of shit. Like, we are at the behest of the whims of our billionaires of society. Like, whatever they decide that's good for society is what, you know, is going to save us or whatever. Like, that system is terrible. But this shows that they know what works and what really can help people. It also shows that, homelessness is a policy choice. Poverty is a policy choice. The school to prison pipeline is a policy choice. Okay. We were just talking about the money going to Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan and all of this. This guy single-handedly increased the graduation rate from 25 to 100%. Daycare. How important is freaking daycare? Why is it so expensive? How come we can't pass laws to put caps on how much they can charge for daycares, provide daycare for people who can't afford it? With the money that we have, instead of sending it to Ukraine. He said it gave all high school graduates scholarships. So then that's a motivation for the people to work hard and to graduate, because then they can have a chance for a future they can further their education. These kids drop out of school because they don't have no hopes for a future. They don't have anything for them out there. It's like, for what? It's like, that's the reason why I don't want my daughter to start working. Like, she's 17 now, and I really just don't. I'm trying to put that off as much as I can. I'm like, you got the rest of your life to work, man. There's no point in rushing into that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because your mindset changes once you start working. You start working, you get a job, maybe you get an apartment or something, and then you like, why should I even go to school? Like, I'm already where a lot of people want to be, or whatever, what people are striving for, or whatever. Like, the whole point of going to school is to get a job so you can have like an apartment, so you can have freedom and do whatever the hell you want to do or whatever. What's the point of me going to school and getting more of an education? Like, most of the people I know just have regular ass jobs like the one I have anyways. So, their prospects change, their state of mind changes, their ambition changes or whatever. The crowd, the people that they're around, influence them. So that's the reason why I want my daughter to go to school, is because I want her to be around people who are trying to do something with their life, and hopefully those people can motivate her, influence her in a way that will have her to further her education so that she can do better things in life. And like I always say, college and universities aren't for everything, and trade aren't for everyone. Trade schools are great, fantastic, but that's education still too. Let's not get it twisted. Let's stop belittling people who, because they want to learn more stuff, and it's not the end all to be all, but when you have something that you're working towards, it motivates you to get up in the morning. It motivates you to accomplish things, to take a shower, to dress nice, to, go out in the world and try. That's the beginning. If you don't even have the motivation to try, because it's like, for what? I'm just going to end up in prison or jail. I'm going to be, my goal, like, I'm going to be a social media influencer, or I'm going to be a stripper, or I'm going to be a barber. And I'm not knocking any of this stuff. What I'm saying is, you can have ambitions to be whatever the hell you want to be. That's what we tell the children when they're little. But then once they get older, they're like, man, you better go work at UPS or something. Like, whatever, man. The point of this post right here, this post points to me is that the situations that we face are policy choices. And we know what we can do to improve situations for people in the inner city, people in the suburbs, people across the nation, people in the country, whites, blacks, Hispanics, everyone, old people, young people, you name it. We can improve the lives of these people all the way across the board, but there isn't a political will to do so. We'd rather send the money to Ukraine, basically to the military industrial complex, to the private sector. We want to send all the money to the private sector. Somehow the private sector is going to save the freaking world with their agenda of profit model over people, with their agenda of how did we do last quarter, with their agenda of, how can we improve revenue for our investors. That's going to save the world. That's the answer to everything. Privatize it, and the decisions that the market is going to work itself out, and it's going to be better for everyone. Like, there's so much data that shows that is not the case, and we're still saying this shit. Like the trickle down economics, like there's nothing that supports that, and we're still saying that shit. Comments, it says, I teach about Harris Rosen in my civics class. Incredible story. You do know he is a Republican, right? I mean, his political leanings matters not to me. What he did was great. Like, I don't even think there's a need to mention what political party he's affiliated with. So because this one guy did something good and he was a Republican, does that say that Republicans are good in overall? Or does that show that Democrats are bad overall? Like, it's anecdotal evidence that there's no correlation. Another comment says, don't mind me. I'm just here to laugh at Republicans who know enough to know that Rosen is a Republican, but not enough to know why they don't support the exact same policies when it's brought up for a vote. Yeah, like I say about this, the he's giving them daycare, and I was talking about the damn lunch. Like, the daycare is going to cost way more than giving the kids lunch, but they can't pass that. The Republicans knock that every time it pops up. Give the kids lunch so their parents can smoke crack? No. Another comment says, this is what we could do across the country if billionaires paid their fair share in taxes. Ooh, bing, bing, bam, bam. Well, this is only halfway true, because if the billionaires paid their fair share in taxes, that would only be the first step. The next step would be how they appropriate those funds. And would they appropriate them to daycare and scholarships? I don't think so. No. You have to change the culture. You have to change the narrative. You have to change the money in the politics. The corporations want to make money. They make a lot of money off of building prisons. Like Texas has built how many prisons in the last 10 years? How many universities or colleges have they built in the same time? It's more profitable to send these people and make them into criminals than to make them standing citizens. So as long as there's so much money in the politics and the corporations have their hands in the pockets of the politicians, or the politicians have their hands in the pockets of the corporations, however you want to look at that, it ain't gonna matter. All the tax money can come in there, and then we're just gonna send more to Ukraine or the military industrial complex or the pharmaceutical industry or Walmart, Amazon. They need more money. If anybody needs more money, it's Amazon. Another comment says, might I also add that after one of the more impactful hurricanes in Central Florida, while other hotels were price gouging, he made his resort available for pennies on the dollar so people would have someplace to stay, safe to stay. I'm liking this guy more and more. Every time more I hear about him. Never heard of this guy. His name sounds familiar, but another comment says, wait, it's not by having police on every corner and jails at the ready. Mind blown. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, they know the answer, but they fucking say this bullshit all the time. It makes me angry. Like, poverty is what leads to crime, okay? You want to say it's the demographics, and that's going back to what I was saying, unspoken beliefs where, certain people are predisposed to crime. So, if you give them everything that they need in their life, they're not hungry, they're not struggling, they have prospects for the future, they have daycare, they have a scholarship or whatever, they're still going to go out there and rob people. That's what's going to happen because they nothing you can do about it. Just get more police. Like, we want to be safer. Like, come on. There's nothing that supports that. There's nothing that supports that. That's why they say defund the police, because they're in a lot of municipalities, the police is the big, huge budget, whole bunch of funds going in there. And the people don't feel safer. They're not safer. The crime is the same. If you want to fight the crime, you fight poverty. It's real simple. You give people prospects. You give after school you put money in school programs. There's study after study after study that says this. But we still talking about more police is the answer. They make money off of that. Comment says, I have met this man, and he is one of the greatest gentlemen of all time. He changed everything I ever believed about philanthropy and being a champion for your community. He is a living example of what one person can do. Another comment says, can he run for president? Because I'm trying to see something. Another one that says, that's great. Free daycare alone is huge. I live outside DC. My husband and I both make 6-figure salaries, and daycare for 2 kids is more than our mortgage. I'd have a 3rd child, but daycare. She said daycare is for 2 kids is more than their mortgage. Why is that the case? Why? Ask that question. Why? Because this is what leads to the situations that we have. So there's no coincidence. Policy is what we're talking about here. Systems manage people. People manage systems. You create a system where daycare is expensive as hell, leads to people not being successful, people not being able to move up in the social sphere, people committing crime so they can pay daycare. Another comment says, everyone knows if you want to make the world a better place, early childhood education is key. Another one that says, Mr. Rosen, well, we're not just talking about early childhood education when we're talking about daycare. It's allowing the parents to be able to go to work. That's not to belittle early childhood education. Yes, early childhood education is key, but really this opens up the parents' ability to make money and to provide for the family and to build and to save and to grow. You got situations where one parent, it's better for that parent to just stay home because the amount of money that they make on their job equals the amount the daycare costs. So there's no point in even going to work. Just stay home with the kids. Another comment says, Mr. Rosen has given to underserved, impoverished communities and schools for a long time. And now without it being publicly recognized, it says, a long time now without being publicly recognized. Very glad to see that he is being recognized. He has been a godsend to many students to which he provided a supper program for. Supper program. So yeah, food I think is one of the biggest freaking things that can make a difference. Like the Republicans don't want the kids to have food. Another comment says, I bet he does all this without claiming to be a Christian like Jimmy Carter. He just acts like a good person. Another one that says, it's so simple. He's a hero. If only all millionaires would think like that. This is what makes America great.
You tell her to get away from me. She's crazy.
Revolution.